Cause I really miss the feeling of having good friends. And I remember when we'd always take a ride into town, and how our scooters were the only way to get around. I didn't think much would change, but it hasn't really been the same as it was back then. In the afternoon, and I remember when they all would get together around, and we just looked like fools. That was when I fractured my firstborn, the place that used to be my home. Oh. Nothing would be the same as it was back then.
Oh yeah. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. That was a brilliant track. That was 12 again. I had to think about that 12 times to say it, and I'm not surprised because it's in the name of the title. We're again back here for take 12, I guess, of this beautiful show. Too bad it's not episode 12. That would have been really convenient. But unfortunately, it is not. But what is fortunate, I have the artist that wrote said song. I have Aodhan right here on the line from Wollongong. Aodhan, how are you going? Firstly, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks.
How's things? You must be pretty chuffed now. It's been a good week since the EP's come out.
Yeah. It has been a very good week since the EP's come out. Had a really great response, and yeah, super happy with how it's going.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not a bad thing. When I was going in to stream the EP the other day, I looked at it and I had to take a double take at the streaming numbers. I was going, hold on a sec, that doesn't sound right. I remember when this guy had like 3 followers.
It's amazing. It honestly feels great.
Yeah, it's like describe us what it is like. Because firstly, I should have mentioned the name of the EP. It's called Flies in My Room. And it certainly has been buzzing around in my head since I've been listening to it.
I see what you did there. Very nice.
Yeah. I thought I'd just pause for effect for a sec. I'm the king of terrible puns, you see. So I'll but if you can top me during this interview, please go ahead. I feel like being dethroned every now and again.
Okay, well, I'm not very good myself, but I'll see what happens.
So the trick is not to warn me. So and then it takes me a few seconds. Like, that's what he did, the sneaky bastard.
Right.
Yeah, he pulled a sneaky. No, Aodhan, I just want to say, yeah, really good stuff, and it must be just, I guess, seeing how much success the EP's had so far, as we're saying, you must feel just pretty over the moon about it. Is that what it feels like?
It does feel pretty like that. It's after such a long time of just kind of holding it or keeping it in my pocket after like a whole year after creating it, it just feels great to have it finally released. And the response, as I said, has just been wonderful. So yeah, it's feeling really good.
Tell me, it's like, because are you one of those artists? Because there's two types of artists, right, Aodhan? There is the artist that goes, yeah, I've got the EP coming out, it's coming, and like they're like that for 3 years. Oh yeah, no, I swear the EP is coming. It's just been pushed back again. When there are others like, no, I'm keeping this on the down low until like the last minute. It's like, oh, got an EP coming out. So where do you fit along that spectrum?
Ooh, I'd have to say, I feel like I'd be quite a neat balance between the two, kind of like in the middle, kind of sort of early hints of it maybe, and then time to announce.
So just being a bit of a smart ass about it's like, oh yeah, I might have something coming just to throw off your audience.
Yeah, well, maybe not like that as such, but you're on the right track.
Yeah. No, we're only joking here, folks. No, but I mean, you've got to. Is it important to keep your audience as informed as possible to what you're doing, or is there an importance to keeping things a little bit secret, not giving everything away? What do you think about, like, what do you think's most important out of those two?
It's a tricky one because you want to keep your audience engaged and on their tippy toes at all times, and it's kind of hard to do that all the time. But at the same time, if you're trying to create more of an audience, it's good to be patient, and that's one of the key things in this whole thing is patience. It sucks, but it's key.
I was going to say, do you ever actually talk to older artists that have maybe been in the scene like a lot longer than yourself, and they've brought, they've said, back when we were starting out, it was different, or have you found that it's pretty much the same thing, just the tools are different? You got the social media now compared to back in the day. It was all traditional media. Has there been much of a change from what you've been told, or are you finding out it's the same thing, pretty much different? Same day, different kettle of fish.
Right.
to use a better term,
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not too sure. I have a look at, sometimes I have a look at older artists' kind of like discographies and see how many years there are between their releases and stuff, and think, and I think, most of the time I just think it's not much different to what a lot of younger artists are doing today. But yeah, truthfully, I'm not too sure what it really was like. Like I didn't really get the chance to have much of a conversation about that when talking to older artists like Josh Pike, for example.
See, I don't think of him as an old artist, but then he's been in the industry for decades now.
Yeah, exactly. He's got what is it, like 7 albums now or something like that? 6 albums. I don't know. It's crazy, but honestly, I'm not too sure if I'm sure some things have changed, but I'm just not really sure to what degree.
Yeah. What has been, you've spoken to a few of these artists that have been well established in the scene. Has there been any like advice that they've given you that's sort of either stuck or gone, okay, I didn't think of that? It's not an easy question, is it? Because people don't go around, I've got advice to give you, son. They just sort of like say things, don't they?
Yeah, that's it. It's kind of tricky, and I can't really remember off the top of my head.
We can flip the question around and go, so Aodhan, what's the best advice you've given?
Right. Best advice I've given.
Not to make you sound too up yourself.
Yeah, honestly, I really couldn't tell you. I'm not much of a. Yeah.
That wasn't supposed to be a question. That was supposed to be answered.
Right. Yeah.
You said it before, you've been sitting on these songs for about a year. With this, it's quite a common thing for artists to have already moved on in terms of their songwriting from by the time they're actually finally getting around to releasing their latest record or album or whatever. So do you feel like you're in the same boat, or are you still finding the songs just as fresh as they were when you first put them to paper?
It's weird. It does feel it does feel really new and fresh. Still, even though these songs, a lot of these songs I began writing like 2 years ago, and it's weird. It does still feel quite new, although having started writing other songs for later projects, it oddly does feel pretty fresh.
Yeah. So you're still finding new things to like about the songs as you keep playing them.
Yeah, that's it. Well, yeah, I guess it just feels very fresh, and I'm still really love how the end product came out after writing them for so long.
If I was going to say, do you ever have to sometimes though put the song down for a couple of months and go, I'm going to overplay it, I'm going to oversaturate myself and get bored of it, I'll come back to it later? Have you ever had to do that before, or do you find that you can always play the same songs and they're still always fun to play?
I don't know. Sorry, could you just repeat that again? Sorry.
Yeah. So sometimes you find that you have to put the song down for a little while and not touch it and not play it just because you fear that you're going to overplay it and get bored of it.
Yeah, not really. Usually when I'm excited about an idea, I don't get worried about what I might feel about it later. I try to just I try to just kind of get through it as much as I can, and usually there will come a point where it's just like, oh, this isn't really kind of going the way I want it to. So then that's when I sort of kind of put it down. But then I'll usually come back to it. So, and I think that's what I did with pretty much all of these songs that are on the EP.
I was going to ask were there any examples of this on the record, but you've bet me to that question, Aodhan. I do like that. So you do find, so is this when you're writing the songs? Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of starting them. It's like lyric writing, especially. It's crazy. Like I'm always trying to come up with like lyrics whenever I can, writing them down whenever I can, and it's very rare that I'll be able to finish a whole song within a day. Yeah. So excuse me. It's
Have you ever tried to do that?
Plenty of times. Plenty of times I've tried to finish songs within a certain time, and it's hard. Usually it can happen sometimes, but it's very rare.
Actually, on the flip side too, have there been any songs that you've had to come back to several times and have taken months upon months to finish? Well, I guess that's kind of coming back to the EP. It's I think I'm Closed had like three different arrangements for it before I created the I'm Closed that everyone kind of knows today. Yeah. And honestly, I was super happy with all of those kind of attempts at it. But it just that's kind of an example of that. I think it can be like that sometimes, and it's you never know when a song's going to be finished sometimes. You could almost say, wink wink, that song had a revolving door of opportunity. The ending was open to interpretation before you finally closed off the final draft. Wink,
right,
wink.
Right.
No, have I hit the nail on the head?
Oh, classic.
There we go. I got it, guys. We've got on top of this one. No. I don't know why I had to say it. I'm sorry.
Yep. That's all good. All good.
I was going to say, let's talk a bit about the putting together of the EP. So Ryan Miller, your producer, what's it like working with him? What did you really enjoy about your time together, putting that record through?
Oh man, he's super cool. He's definitely, I definitely see him kind of being, the go-to producer. He he kind of knew what I was going for straight away, and he knew immediately how to do it. Amazing producer. So it was really, really great to be able to work with him.
Could you just tell that there was like this natural sort of flair he has for it? I know he's a very experienced producer and done quite a few different artists, but do you probably put that more down to his own experience or just the fact that he has this natural talent for it, or maybe both?
Yeah, I'd probably say both. Yeah, I mean, he's worked with great artists. And then, obviously a fair few years of, a bit of background behind him. He was saying that he's been working on stuff since since when I started, when I was like 12.
Yeah.
He's been working on stuff since he was that age too. And, he's, super, super talented, and it was really cool to be able to work with him. As I said before, he was able to just boom, create what I wanted.
Was there much decision making behind choosing him as the producer, or was it pretty easy who you were going to go for?
At the time, I didn't really know because this was my first time actually creating any work in a proper studio with an actual producer.
All right, so your previous singles were just self-recorded.
Yeah, previous singles were all done by me, and I had no idea who didn't even know really where to start.
Yeah.
But my dad actually knew Ryan before I did.
Right.
Yeah, because he was on The Voice way back in 2012, and I believe Ryan worked on a few of the contestants' stuff, so that included my dad. And then he sort of introduced me to him, and we hit it off.
See, you say that people laugh at those shows, and I certainly was in that crowd back when, especially I was your age. We used to laugh at Australian Idol, and then it was X Factor, and The Voice came around. But I've learned, the more I hear about it, the people actually go on. Yeah, it's very, as I'm sure your dad has told you, very specific about how they do things and what you can and can't do. But at the same time, it's a phenomenal opportunity to network. I did have a friend that actually went on this year's of The Voice, which should be, I don't know when it's going to be aired, but I think it's coming up soon. Anyway, he was saying the same thing, very strict on what you can and can't do, but he was able to network with some amazing musicians and people in the industry. So even if you don't get on and get past any rounds, there's still a great opportunity to do that. Yeah, exactly. I think, my dad experienced that. Obviously, if you these shows aren't ideal if you want a serious career, but what you said about networking is spot on. Like, you meet heaps of people doing those kind of things. So I guess it's speaking of your parents too. Obviously they are very supportive, and that's great to hear. But what's it like? Are they the kind of folks that will always come to every single show, or are they pretty? They like to give you a bit of space. What are they like in terms of supporting you with your career thus far?
Yeah, they've been super supportive. Both of them have really had my back. In doing all this, they have come to pretty much every show. They've whenever they could, and the support's really there. It's really nice. They're very supportive. So
I just realized that was probably a stupid question. Because I just realized, like, when you're under 18, you pretty much have to have your parent that you got in there all the time. So as soon as I said, I was like, wait a minute.
Well, there is that,
but they're not just coming along like, oh, I've got another one of Aodhan's gigs.
Right.
But they actually sound like they're really invested in your career.
Yeah, that's it. And because my dad does the same sort of thing. He gigs as well, so he can't always make it, but whenever he has a chance, he does. So, the support is definitely phenomenal.
Actually, that's interesting. So your father has always been a musician himself, has he?
He is. Yeah, that's kind of where I get my roots from. Yeah, all the music that he's into, I kind of grew up listening to around the house and in the car and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much, that's kind of all pretty much created my diverse taste in music.
I was going to say, so your father, that was going to be my next question about whether that his music tastes have rubbed off on you. But has there actually ever been a time where you've brought either a record home, well, I mean, not a record, but you've found a song or an artist and you've brought it to your dad and go, hey, listen to this person, they're really cool, that he hadn't listened to before?
Yeah. I feel like there was a time. Maybe. Well, maybe not actually. Maybe he's the one that's still kind of giving me all that stuff.
Is he still pretty on top of like new artists when they come out? Like, is he still invested in reaching out for new music?
I think so. Yeah, he's still pretty with it all. I'm not so much like up and coming Australian artists, but I mean, in saying that, actually, he's a teacher, so he's kind of familiar with a lot of young Australian artists as well. But he for someone his age, he's definitely say he's quite on top of it. So
I like it when you do get older people. And it breaks down this age stereotype you've got going, where once you hit a certain age, you don't listen to any new music. It's the same over and over again. I hope I'm like that when I get older. And our station manager Gareth is certainly like that. Well, he has to be, to listen to all the new artists that come through. But I hope I'm a bit like that when I'm older. Like people like your dad, where they're still absorbing new music. They still have that drive to find out what's changing with music and what's new and what's fresh, regardless of whether it sounds totally different to what they grew up listening to. So I do really like and I do know some people that are like that. And they're honestly, there's a youthfulness about it. It's got nothing to do with age, but there's like this energy surrounding them that you can always appreciate.
Yeah, 100%. That's really what it is. Yeah.
I was going to say, with being a young artist yourself, has there ever been any, look, maybe there hasn't, maybe we're far beyond this point now, but has there ever been any stereotypes you've had to like either quash or you've without realizing it, broken down to someone because they had certain preconceptions about your age or who you are or where you've come from?
Not really, I don't think. At least not from what I can remember, or maybe not even have noticed before. But I wouldn't say so far.
You know what? Out of all the questions you didn't have to have an answer for, I'm very happy that's the case.
Yeah.
It's the question you don't want to have an answer for. It just makes me very proud of our industry and the culture we have in this country with music, which I think is great.
Definitely.
What do you appreciate most about the music industry? Just generally, whether it's, it can be anything about it, but yeah, what do you like most about it?
I'd probably say the community for sure. The community in the music industry is it's wonderful. Having pretty much every artist that I've sort of met and kind of follow, and they all just super supportive, and it's amazing to see. It's especially in an industry that isn't very well supported by the country.
I was going to say that's a very topical point you bring up, actually, especially with all the lockdowns going on. You're in lockdown, we're in lockdown. We're doing the Oprah of lockdowns. You get a lockdown, you get a lockdown. Everyone gets a lockdown.
That's it. The support from artists and it's wonderful. The community is really great.
Yeah, it is. It is a great supportive community. That's what I've always liked about it too. There's no pretension, and if there is any pretension, you're not. You're probably not the kind of person that you want to be hanging around. Like, anybody, there's nobody's expecting you to be anything, which is what I like about it. And I don't know if that's been your experience as well, but just generally, people will. Because they've had the same experience where people have sort of expected them to do certain things or act in a certain way. When you get into music and when you get into the community spirit of it, as you say, there's no expectation for you to be anybody. Just be yourself.
Yeah, that's it. And we, wouldn't want to have it any other way, really. So yeah, that's definitely what I love about it.
Which is ironic because everyone has stage names.
Oh yeah.
It's actually, I probably should retract that statement and say it's more like be who you want to be.
Right.
Might be more accurate, but you can be yourself. Like there's that option for you.
Yeah, definitely.
So this brings up an interesting point. Have you ever tried to write a song from another person's perspective that, or are you always trying to write from that first person perspective?
I think I might have had a couple attempts at it, but everything that I've kind of really, that I've really found myself creating, has all kind of been from my own sort of perspective. Yeah.
Have you found that it's a case of you've got to experience it to really get to the bottom of it and write something profound?
Yeah. I think, I don't really quite.
It's a very it's a very philosophical question, and I don't think it's got anything to do with age or experience. Like everybody's trying to work it out.
Yeah, that's it. So I guess I've just had more luck writing from my own perspective. Not really knowing kind of how to write from a third person.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Like it's not just a you thing. It's a pretty much most songwriters are like that.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the actual putting together of the record, the production side of things. Because you mentioned, this was the first time you've gone into a proper studio and put some music together that way. Was there much of a learning curve with that different process, or was it pretty easy to slip into from your experiences as self-recording?
I think I was pretty easy with it. I think I had a bit of practice with working with other people from working with Josh Pike and JP and so not too much background, but I feel like I kind of fell into it quite easily and managed to get what we needed to get done quite smoothly. So,
Did you have to sort of push your boundaries in terms of how you were comfortable putting together a song, maybe to either let the creative juices flow or, I don't know, to save time or, utilize the experience better? Was it pretty much just a copy and paste process from what you'd done at home?
Yeah, it was a bit different. I guess being in that sort of different environment, you got different equipment and stuff that you've got to work with. But, I was kind of just happy to do whatever. Like for most of the songs, me and Grant, the drummer, we kind of started everything off by doing like a guide. So I would sit in one booth and he'd be out in the studio drumming. So I'd just sit there and play with him, which is something I'd never done before, but I was happy to do it, and everything just turned out really nicely.
It's certainly just the tightness of the record too. When I was listening through it, it's all a very nice, neat package, and you can tell it's such a concise piece of work. So you must have had to have been switched on throughout that entire process to get it done to that degree.
Yeah. I'd say I was pretty switched on throughout the process, and kind of gave my best shot at giving ideas wherever I could while working with the pros, and
No getting up half an hour before work.
Yeah.
Like today for both of us. Yeah. It's like
That's it.
Proper 8 hours each night.
Yeah.
No coffee or milk beforehand. Only eat after you've done the vocal takes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you don't want to be throwing up everywhere.
Yeah, you got to. I was going to say, no, you get the cough and that coming through. You get the little hoarseness from your voice, not like ruining the $3,000 worth of music
Yeah.
equipment.
Yeah, man, but you never know. That could happen. I mean,
I thought you were going to say it did happen. I was like, here's the inside scoop I didn't know I needed.
yeah, little too specific. Yeah. No, that's
So
never
that's
happened, I
what
promise.
risotto looks like after 12 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. No, great.
Did you have to have, actually, in all seriousness though, was there any sort of tips or techniques you had to do to really make sure your vocals were in prime condition before you do takes?
Not really. I kind of just hop into the booth and give it a shot.
Vocal coaches worldwide are shocked at that statement. They can hear it. They're tuned. They're like got their spidey senses. They've got their bad vocal technique sensors.
Yeah.
As soon as they hear it,
Right.
you're talking at a party, they'll be across the room like, oh, you have milk before a vocal take?
Right.
Shame.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. That's why I do double track vocals, so you can't hear any of it.
Yes, I see. The time-honored John Lennon technique, so I've been told.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't like the sound of their own voice, so I'll record more of it.
Yeah. That's it.
I love it. But so are all the vocal tracks double taked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even in daily meditation, I think we even did like a triple track vocal.
Ryan, he's a real stickler for this because it did not sound like a double take. It sounded very tight.
Yeah. I think what do we do? I think we must have pushed the other two tracks back a little bit to kind of hear that female harmony, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much all of it was multiple tracks, and just something that I've rolled with since I began, since my first single. So,
do you think you would ever try doing the single track thing?
I think probably. I've listened to a lot of music lately that's kind of had that sort of sound to it, and I think eventually, yeah. But at the moment, the stuff I'm doing sounds quite nice with the double track.
Yeah, so it would really, I was going to say, it would really come down to the style of the song, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
With it though, I was going to say, are there any styles of music that appear, that just are totally separate from what you're doing now that you'd love to have a crack at some point? Like, where's my Aodhan gangster rap mixtape? I want to hear that fire.
Dude, honestly, I've actually I've been making like sort of like hyperpop sort of beats and stuff. And I'm actually a bit of quite a big fan of Kid Laroi. So
right.
I actually kind of try to make these cool little beats and stuff, and put a little auto tune on my voice and have a bit of fun. But yeah.
It depends on how many fans you're willing to upset, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, well, honestly, not too worried, to be honest. Yeah. And
replace that particular subsection of pissed off fans with another subset of fans that will get pissed off by your next change.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, I think about it all the time. I would love to pursue different projects, create other projects other than Aodhan, and get back to doing electronic music and stuff, which is like what I originally started doing, which is like, I learned how to use Logic when I first started off, because I was making electronic music, and that's kind of where it all started.
Yeah, it's not quite common for a lot of artists to do that sort of in and out of that electronic style. They'll either start or they won't, and then they go, "No, I want to do this now," and they'll sort of cycle in and out of it. But would you actually do the thing where you'd have a different project for every sort of style you do, or are you more than happy just to lump everything under the one name?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't put kind of heavy electronic hyperpop with smooth indie. Guitar pop and whatever, but
Aodhan doesn't stand for discotheque, does he? It's
yeah, I'd probably separate projects, but
yeah, that's fair.
It would be so fun to maybe try some other stuff one day. Yeah.
With with it now, because I know that you were obviously planning to, let's say, big emphasis on the planning to do a bit of touring this month. How's that going for you?
I mean,
I played to the living room yesterday. Played to the cats today.
Yeah.
Next week I'm putting my Marshall stack outside. The neighbours are going to hear me whether I like it or not.
Yeah. That would be fun. But unfortunately, we've still been pretty lucky because the tour has been moved back. So
surprise.
Yeah.
It's a bummer that you couldn't. But I mean, at least it's good that at some point we know you'll be out on the road and playing these songs for us all live.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, hopefully, if this whole lockdown thing ends when it's supposed to, then, which is unlikely, but then we'll still hopefully have a tour, and it should be a good time. I'm
going to change track now because I was just really looking over the artwork of the EP, and I've noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, Aodhan, is the smiley face a recurring motif with your songs, with like your artwork, or am I imagining this?
Oh my God, I've never really realized that before.
Is that what you're telling me? Am I the first one to pick this up?
I never really picked it up.
I'm gonna have to double
the smiley faces.
I don't know. I think I might be thinking of someone. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. I'm gonna have a look at your artwork discography. No, you're absolutely right. It's the first. Yes, it's the first thing. Although I'm noticing now, looking at it, the yellow color seems to come back quite a bit. Is that on purpose?
I think I just quite like the greens and browns and yellows and stuff for a lot of it really kind of suits the sound that I'm trying to go for, I think.
Yeah. Have you looked much into the science of how people respond to colors? Because I remember I was reading an article, watching a video, but Jack White is very obsessed with color, and you'll notice all of his artwork, depending on whether it's with the White Stripes or his own solo stuff, the colors will change depending on what he does, and it's specifically to emit a certain emotion. Have you thought about that much, or are you just like, it sounds good with those colors, that'll do? Yeah,
honestly, I do think about that a little bit. Usually, with the folk stuff that I kind of did a couple years ago, I remember that was I would always try to put like a bit of like a sunsetty sort of thing on it, something kind of warm, something something to suit that. So I think about it all the time. I don't know what I was thinking with the black and white. I think I've run out of ideas for the EP, but
we'll sick of it. You're sick of the colours.
Yeah.
The colours, Mason. The colours, what do they mean?
Yeah. But So that's I do find that colours do that. So. Yeah.
How consciously though are you pushing that? Is that affecting the way you dress when you go on stage? Like the color of the instruments. I don't know if you got any lights or anything when you've played before, but like even the decor. Like how far are you going to take this whole color thing? Is it going to be like you'll only let people in if they're wearing a certain colored T-shirt? Like, well, what's the deal here?
Yeah, obviously, maybe not to that extent, but...
Oh, come on. I thought you were going to say, yes, Daniel, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
I mean, I haven't really thought about going too far with colours or anything before, but I guess, it does have that sort of impact on, emotions and stuff and how we sort of listen to music.
Nice. What's the one thing once all this COVID bullshit ends? Well, actually, it's not bullshit, but once all this COVID quagmire of viral contagion is over, whenever that is, what are you most looking forward to music-wise?
Really just being able to get back out to shows and play for people and have rehearsals with my friends and and writing sessions too. That's something I've kind of really wanted to do this year with lots of people, and it would just be great to sort of get back out and be active again.
Is there one person? Let's dwell on that matter. Let's dwell on that thing you just said there for a moment. If there's one artist you could pick, dead or alive, right? Anyone in the world. If they're dead, we could magically resurrect them. If they're
right,
way above your league, you've got $50 million to, got a magic $50 million to pay them. Who would you write with? Who's your dream to write with?
Dream,
or the person you're most wanting to, just a bucket list item.
Yeah, bucket list item. I've got favorite bands and stuff, but it's not necessarily like I would want to, like write with them and stuff. But
it's like, well, maybe maybe you support them or something in a show.
Yeah. This is a hard one. I feel like maybe like.
It's not easy to pick, is it, when it comes to you got to think about it? These are these shower thoughts.
Yeah.
Maybe we should give everyone a waterproof phone. I'll start doing these interviews while everyone's in the shower.
For sure. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Actually, I don't think anyone's ever thought of that before.
Never, probably because the sound of the water would probably ruin the take. But let's not let reality ruin a good idea.
True. Yeah.
Showers are noisy, Aodhan.
That is true. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to come back to that one sometime.
Okay, you can let me know, and we'll be watching your career with great interest, I guess, to see where that one takes. Because if I'm guessing, you sound like a very, very focused individual, Aodhan. I have no doubt you'll reach those heights. Fingers crossed. Next minute, cancels the music thing, goes into hiding as a hermit. Well, that was a bad prediction. It'd be fun to do that. It'd be fun to tease everyone like that, wouldn't it? Just to muck with it.
Yeah, it'd be great.
I think you have to get to a certain level of notoriety, before you could get away with a publicity stunt like that, though.
Yeah.
Like people go, "Who's this guy that's just disappeared?" Like, I don't know. Aodhan Schmaodhan.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're as big as Kanye, that's something that Kanye does, like that's his bread and butter. But if Kanye does it, everybody pays attention. Like it's in the news cycles for a week. Can't get enough of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it.
And those wanky music journalists, they just won't stop talking about him.
Yeah, man. It's Kanye.
But no, honestly, it's really, really cool to see that you've just kicking so many goals so far in the last couple of years. And I'm very keen. And the beauty of it is you'll be coming of age, or, becoming an adult, like right as everything sort of opens up again. Talk about timing. I mean, you didn't have to complain about the pubs not being open, which is, I guess a small silver linings. But you're going to be coming of age just as, coming of legal age, just as sort of everything's opening back up again, which I think will be a really interesting perspective to have.
That's, definitely. I'm definitely looking forward to it for sure.
Those unsupervised gigs where you can get away with more.
For sure. Yeah. I can. Yeah.
It's the real reason why you gotta ask for no cameras. Not because it's for copyright or anything. It's just so that mum and dad don't find out what you got up to. Wink, wink.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
But no, it's going to be really cool to see what you'll be doing in the coming years, and hopefully with your new releases, seeing like the different styles you're mentioning too, which will be pretty cool.
Yeah. That's I reckon that's definitely on the table. So yeah.
Let's talk about, because we're going to play it real soon. Once I get the name of the track up again, Just Friends, which is the beautiful closing track of the record. And when I was listening to it, I thought this is indeed a very personal song. You could certainly tell that. And you were mentioning that you wanted to have a chat about this one. So tell us a bit about it. Like what was going through your head, I guess, when you were putting it together? Like how much of this is based on your own experiences?
Yeah, well, this was inspired by an experience that I actually had, I guess. So, I guess, So I guess
It's hunted, so I don't want to name names or anything. I'm not asking you to do that.
oh yeah, no, yeah, all good. That would be kind of awkward.
Want to avoid the lawsuits.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, basically it's kind of just about this relationship I had with someone. It wasn't like anything set in stone. We were kind of just talking really and hanging out and whatever. But I just wasn't and this is it's kind of funny because this is when I was like 14.
Yeah.
Like when I didn't really have any idea of what like an actual relationship meant and whatever.
Spoiler alert, no one does.
No, right. There we go.
I know what you mean though, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I think at the time I just really wasn't sure if I was kind of in two minds about the whole thing. And so I ended up kind of just calling it because I didn't want things to go any further and, whatever. So, but yeah, we're all good now. We're still good friends, and I ended up writing a song about it. I don't think she knows it's about her, so that's good.
I was going to say no naming names today.
Yeah. But yeah, and then, I guess the writing process, it was kind of easy. I took inspiration from a Josh Pike song to sort of start off. I think I remember actually writing that one in quite a short amount of time. And then
so this is one of those shorter ones, not in a day, but so like just a little bit longer, but like one of those shorter ones, yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's a kind of like a decent sort of time span.
It's a productive session by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
So did you find that it was one of those songs that you're like, I've got to have this on here. This is a very close song to me. I've got to have it on there. Was this one of your definite picks? It was definitely going to be on there regardless.
I think I kind of just wrote, I don't know. I hadn't written many songs at the time. So whatever I wrote just kind of went on to the EP. And, I kind of wasn't too fussed about picking which songs, but yeah, so that was one of them.
Nice.
So, but it turned out great. And so I'm quite happy to have it now on the EP. And the production for it was, and I think Ryan can definitely agree when I say that it was really fun to mess around with, really, because there's like quite a fair bit going on. And, so I guess that's kind of why I'd love for people to kind of hear it a bit more.
Yeah. No, that's cool. And it's a great track, and it's, as I said, great finisher. And all the songs are very strong too. Like they all have it was very hard for me to work out which ones were my favorites because they've all got their own strengths, which is really good.
Yeah.
Which is, I suppose, is the thing about when you've only got 5 songs to pick. It's all every song's going to be absolutely top. But I was going to say, when you're 14, those relationships, they feel like they're everything, don't they?
Yeah.
And I'm sure your dad knows exactly what's going on as a teacher there, probably looking at it going, these young lovers.
Yeah.
Just letting them have their experiences themselves and working out how the hell they have human interaction.
Yeah. That's a thought. I'm kind of wondering if I don't think he actually knows what's about, so I think we're chilling.
Well, I guess he does now.
Yeah, that's so good.
No, Aodhan, thank you so much for coming on. It's really good to have a chat about the EP and going through what it's like getting your songs together and all that. So thanks so much for coming on.
No worries. Yeah, I had a great chat. Yeah.
Honestly, best of luck with everything in the coming months. Hopefully you guys can get out sooner rather than later so you can get back to gigging in that as well.
Yeah, for sure. That will be the day.
It would be the day, yes. No, Aodhan, thanks again. Why don't you take us out? Tell us who you are and what the song's called.
Hey, this is Aodhan, and this is Just Friends.
Why'd you kiss me? It's not the way that we're supposed to be. You know exactly where this will lead, but for now beginning if you ever end up better off as friends, better off as friends. You realize once you see this thing and figure it out, figure it out. Just look at the beginning if you ever end up.
AustralianMusiciansRadio.com